I'd like to very sincerely welcome you all to the annual Frontline Club Party and Awards. It's so good to see you all here. I'm going to have to read this because I've been drinking too much, and I hope you have too. I think we're ready for this, aren't we, John? It's been a challenging year for the Frontline Club, and of course it's been tough for all of us. Several restaurants in the area have closed down, but like the porno shop, we're still resilient. Steadfast in the storm. Sadly, we have lost most of our event funding and have consequently had to increase our event ticket prices. But our events are now full as they've ever been, and so we've sort of made up the ground that we've lost. And I'd like to thank our events team, Julie, Charlotte, where are you all? Make yourselves known. Julie Tonnan, Charlotte Cook, Millicent Teasdale, they're all here somewhere. And thank you for your hard work turning things for the better. To keep our customers in the restaurant during these times, we've had to improve our food. I hope you think it's getting better. We brought down more from our farm in Norfolk, and we've had to improve the quality of our service. I'd like to thank Sam, Marco, Olga, Colin, and of course JJ normally gets a clap. Actually, all of our floor and kitchen staff, on behalf of you all, thank you very much for your hard work. Together, we pulled through our most difficult year. But there have been changes. There always are in the hospitality trade, which is actually remarkably inhospitable if you work in it. We now have a new head chef, and I hope you love his food as much as I do. I'd like to warmly welcome Oisin, it's quite hard for me to pronounce that, Oisin Coyle, who is down in the furnace at the moment. I'd also like to welcome Mario Marni. Are you here, Mario? He's in the club. Who's going to miss this? Oh, well, someone tell him I said it. Our new operations director, currently acting as general manager. Mario came to us from the Caprice Group and has worked for the best restaurant operations in London. Again, on our behalf, all of our behalf, I'd like to welcome Mario to the Frontline. Club membership has continued to rise, but not at quite the rate that it did before. We're now on 1,442 members. We've also got 341 associate members, and these are people who support our forum events. We want more members. Please encourage more of the people that you would like to join this club to join it. There will be no joining fee, like normal, if we receive forms tonight. I would like to thank I'm trying to rattle through this because I know that actually, I'm allowed to witter because you've got free drinks, but I want to try to press on. I'd like to thank my wife Pranvera for making the Frontline Club a shared dream. But most importantly, we, Pranvera and I, would like to thank you, our members, this year. It has been hard to water the garden when the house is on fire. But on gardening, go on, a bit of light relief. We have, the farm's going great actually, and we've got a volunteer workforce of woofers, willing workers on organic farms. They're mostly French, and they deliver, they scavenge for berries and they handpick vegetables in hedges, look after our swine. And I would like to offer any of you, if you'd like a little bit of active exercise, weeding or anything like this, you're always welcome to come up and have a crack at it as a willing worker on organic farms. But please be willing, no sloth.
They get fed and they get free accommodation.
It's a great deal. We are also indoctrinating a new generation to take over from us and assure Frontline's future. We are hoping that you will be impressed with this commitment and all take out life memberships. Pranvera and I want to bring a new energy into Frontline in 2010. Maybe I should have discussed this with you before, but we're going to bring new energy. It's been 6 years now, and so back to basics. We want to bring a new life into the building, and we want your feedback to help us make a better Frontline Club. We want ideas, advice, even, though I can't think there'd be much of it, a bit of criticism. We may look the same, but this year, under the surface, we have become lean, like so many organizations. We're a lean hospitality machine, bursting with vigor and renewed enthusiasm, aren't we? Yes. In 2010, we are expanding our international events. We've done events in several countries before. In Russia, for 3 years now, we've been having 2 events a week in the provinces. But next year, we're going to have a program of screenings and talks with local partners in 6 countries, at least 6 countries: Albania, Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, Bosnia, Russia, and South Africa. We're starting to build, for you guys, some reciprocal agreements with other press clubs. Not really a press club, but we have established one with the Explorers Club in Manhattan. So let us know if that's...
Beautiful building in
Yeah, wonderful building. So let us know if it works, because we can cut the agreement if you don't like it. We've also got an agreement with the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. So if there are any clubs you'd like us to actually make a reciprocal agreement with, please tell us, because we think we're ready for that now. Something in Australia. We have now published 2 issues of our new Frontline broadsheet. It was 1 year ago tonight that we decided to launch it. Perhaps it was the Chivas Regal single malts that they kindly gave us last year, as they have given us again this year to support us, so thank you very much. He's there, is he? A good thing I got that in, isn't it? The champagne, gin and whiskey has all been given by Chivas tonight, as it is on our networking events. Booze, journalism, pretty good match. I think you'll agree.
I think a big clap.
So I know I speak for us in thanking Chivas for their generosity. While most of you have been tremendously supportive of the broadsheet, some members don't wish to subscribe to it. And a few, not many, question whether we should really be doing it at all. And I did want to try to address that. We'll be charging new members for it as part of a slightly increased membership fee. But of course, existing members won't be charged for it if they don't want it. So do feel free to opt out. And we do quite understand it is not. We never thought it was supposed to be mandatory. Are you disagreeing with me? No, just... We never thought it was supposed to be mandatory, but we are very grateful to those who are supporting it, as it is very important to us. We believe in it, as do many other club members who write for it. We wanted our old newsletter to have a wider audience, and we felt it really wasn't going anywhere. So we hope that you'll continue to support it. The broadsheet has no advertising, and so it relies entirely on subscription income to fund it. It also relies on great writers contributing in exchange for some food and drink. Pretty good deal, we think. We also think it's a great idea for a Christmas present, you know, a subscription to the Fixers Fund is what I'm going to move on to now. The Fixers Fund is not here to meet responsibilities that we may believe news organizations have or may not have to the fixers that they employ. But for us to give money out of our pocket is, in my view, an important gesture. Carlotta Gall has made a very strong case to us that we should do more for fixers and local journalists in Pakistan and Afghanistan at the moment. The situation is getting very much worse for them there, and I think it's very important for us to demonstrate that it matters to us. This sort of solidarity is certainly appreciated by them. The Fixers Fund is currently raising money. Actually, hang on, you've got another picture here of the motley crew behind the broadsheet. Of course, that's secret. The Fixers Fund is currently raising money for the families of the following 2 fixers. In a different order than I expected. Sultan Minardi. Sultan was an Afghan reporter killed in a British raid to free Stephen Farrell on September the 9th. I'm sure you all know about it. His body was left behind after the raid to free Stephen Farrell. something that Afghan journalists felt was unforgivable. I feel sure that you are familiar with the appalling tragedy and appreciate why we think we must offer some support to Sultan's family. The Committee to Protect Journalists has urged Gordon Brown to ensure that there was a full inquiry in the rescue of Stephen Farrell and the circumstances surrounding the death of Sultan. We support that, and we particularly support... local fixes are not collateral damage. The drinks... Oh, no, I've got to go back because I missed somebody. Here we go. There's another one. Reza Khan, and I'm sure many of you know Reza as well. He was a well-known driver and fixer in Pakistan. And I'm just going to quote something written by John Stanmeyer. Reza died last week in a car crash, ferrying 2 photographers on the insanely scary road from Peshawar back to Islamabad. They survived the accident, Reza didn't. Reza was a source of Pakistani national treasure. Reza knew everybody, bureaucrats who could be caged into issuing a rare as gold travel permit to off-limit tribal areas, gunsmiths, antiquity smugglers, holy men and thieves. Reza was clued in on what Pashtun tribes were pro-Taliban and likely to kidnap you, and which would offer you a cup of tea. Reza may look like a pirate, as I'd often say as an introduction to my fellow journalists, but I trusted him with my life, and they often did too. Now, Reza leaves a wife and 4 children with little or no means of support. So again, we'd like to support Reza's, I spelt it wrong there, I apologize, Reza Khan's family. The drinks have been for free and the company quite fine. Our promise is that for every £1 given, £1 will be paid out. Frontline Club will cover all administration charges, so please give generously. I'm now going to move on to the Frontline Club Award and explain what it's for. The Frontline Club Award focuses on journalistic integrity and courage, regardless of nationality or media discipline, and includes the work of freelancers. Judges have considerable flexibility in awarding these awards. They're truly practitioners' awards, and for me that's their real value. There are 2 awards. The first one is the Frontline Club Award, which recognises excellence over the past 12 months. It has previously been won by John D. McHugh and Yuri Kozyrev. John Owen, who I'm sure you all know, is a trustee of the Frontline Club Charitable Trust and heads the editorial team for our events. These events, one mustn't forget, were modelled on the events John used to run at the Freedom Forum European Centre at Stanhope Place before our time. John is kindly going to help us do the awards tonight, but that gives me an opportunity to express my gratitude to him for the tremendous support and wisdom, because I need quite a lot of that, that he has given to me over the last decade.
Well, tonight's recipient of this Frontline Club Award is very deserving. Often it's the agency photojournalists who are overlooked because they churn out work on a daily basis. They don't get a profile often that photojournalists do working for major papers. But this year's recipient is someone who not only has done outstanding work all through the Middle East and also in South Asia, he's also someone who has paid a price this year for his work. The winner of this year's Frontline Club Award is Emilio Morenatti, the Spanish photojournalist. He was badly wounded in Afghanistan in August and suffered for that embedding exercise that he went through. He was badly wounded, and he even sadly had to have his leg amputated. But that has not stopped him. He is an incredibly resilient journalist. He's in the United States, convalescing, and intends to return to active work. And earlier, this profile of him and also his remarks were recorded for this event tonight.
Hello everybody, my name is Emilio Morenatti and I'm very proud to accept this 6th edition of the Frontline Award. When I found out that I got this award, I wondered why this prestigious group of journalists that are part of the jury recognize my work. I don't really know what is the reason, All I know is that for the last 24 years, I have worked as a photojournalist. Not only I have been enjoying my job a lot, but I also always try to do my best to achieve a good result. I'm very sorry for not to be there with you tonight, but I am right now in the middle of my rehabilitation process in the United States after losing one of my legs in a bomb blast that I'm in bed with the American troops in southern Afghanistan. This is a long process, but I hope to go back to my job as soon as possible. After having covered crisis and war in places like Africa, Middle East and Asia for more than a decade, it is the turn to face my personal war. The pain that results from an amputation produced by a bomb makes me feel on the other side of my camera, just like the victims I used to photograph. My life is dedicated to the photojournalism. This is what I did, and it's gonna help me to understand better this victim I was taking photos to. I always try to put myself in those people places, but now, just when I look at some of my picture, it is very curious. Now I understand even better some of my own photography. I would like to dedicate this hour to all the journalists who have been killed or injured in action in the last few years. But not only to the journalists, also to the drivers, translators, and fixers that put their lives at risk every day to get these stories out, and that make the work of journalists possible. I'm very proud to receive an award from an organization that honors the work of these professionals. Thank you very much for the award, and I hope to see you soon.
I'm going to read out a statement by the judges that explains why this was chosen. For displaying the best qualities of a journalist working on the front line, for his work in Afghanistan, showing honesty, persistence, compassion, as well as personal bravery, Emilio Morenatti is very deserving of our award. As Emilio's colleagues, we praise and commend him. This annual granting of an award to a colleague is an important exercise for us. We think, because it forces us to stop for a moment and look beyond ourselves and to examine what our colleagues are doing, and then to acknowledge one amongst us whom we recognize as worthy of our admiration. Doing this also spurs us on and reminds us that we have sometimes a purpose that is a little greater than ourselves and our own careers. Now, Emilio likes his cameras. Inseparable from them, really, it seems to me. So we have got him a camera. It's the dog's bollocks of a camera. It's the new Canon EOS 50D Mark II, which takes amazing video as well, and it's the rage. And this camera has very kindly been donated by Canon Europe, who continue to support these awards. So I'd like on your behalf to thank Canon Europe. So, camera to Emilio. Oh, I enjoyed doing that. I had great fun with this. The Frontline Memorial Award. Sorry, I've blown it, haven't I? No, I haven't. Okay. The Frontline Memorial Award remembers my colleagues, the freelance video journalists from Frontline News Television who were killed in the course of their work. It is available to judges when they wish to award it. It doesn't have to be given every year, but so far it has been. It has previously been won by Brent Sturton and Furla Davies.
Well, we're going to be serious for just a little while longer at tonight's gathering, but after all, for those of us who've been part of this club since it was formed, the one thing that made it different from other social clubs was that it stood for something, beyond networking and good friendships. And it has a lot to do with those pictures that are downstairs, colleagues of Vaughan Smith's who were killed while, okay. For those of you who obviously are part of this club and seen the pictures downstairs, can anyone hear me? A heckler. Cut his champagne off immediately. You've seen the pictures downstairs. You know what this club stands for. And just a reminder, in the last week, between 12 and 18 journalists and media workers were massacred in the southern Philippines. So we meet on a pretty gloomy week in terms of what is happening to local journalists. And that's what this award is about tonight. Because again, if you look at the figures, which we all know, the overwhelming number of journalists killed, as we've been keeping these sad records, is that the casualties are local journalists. Tonight, we're paying tribute to a local journalist who wrote his own epitaph before he was murdered. And I think we all know who that is. It's the Sri Lankan editor, Lasanda Rikamatunga, who was murdered after he wrote his chronicle of a death foretold. And he was killed after being the editor of the Sunday Leader. He was a brave journalist, and what he wrote is an incredible piece of writing about journalism and the mission of journalism. You've read it. I'm not going to indulge in trying to read his beautiful prose, but I'll just close with what he said at the very end of his statement. He said, "If you remember nothing else, remember this. The leader is there for you, be you Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslim, low caste, homosexual, dissident, or disabled. Its staff will fight on, unbowed and unafraid, with the courage to which you have become accustomed. Do not take that commitment for granted. Let there be no doubt that whatever sacrifices we journalists make, they are not made for our own glory or enrichment. They are made for you. Whether you deserve their sacrifice is another matter. As for me, God knows I tried." So this award is given to him in his memory. We had hoped to connect by Skype to his brother, but I don't believe that he's available to us. I will just say this, that the struggle in Sri Lanka goes on for journalists. Just very recently, several Tamil editors of Tamil papers have been threatened with death, and 2 more senior editors of his paper have received in the mail, in red ink, death threats, the very same threats that he received before he was murdered. So I think all of us have an obligation to keep the watch and keep the faith with local journalists around the world, but also Sri Lankan journalists. So I think we can do nothing more than that, just to remember that that is certainly an obligation we have, and this club will continue to associate itself with that commitment around the world.
I'll read out the judge's statement. Lasantha Wickrematunga paid the ultimate price for exercising his right to the freedom of expression that we all hold dear. Wherever we live and work, and which, in the end, is the fragile, precious thing that gives us our lifeblood, by steadfastly carrying on even after death, so to speak, he is a kind of ultimate journalist in a league all of his own, and deserves our heartfelt recognition. If we were a religion, we would probably be canonizing him as a martyr and a saint. As it is, the least we can do is pause to say his name and express our admiration.
Well, Vaughan, I think the only thing to do in close is just, again, to remind people to give to the Fixers Fund.
Give to the Fixers Fund.
And that's it, right?
There's one other thing I'd like to talk about very quickly, and that is there's some reason for celebration. Oh, by the way, those are the judges. I promised that I'd promote them for it, because they do a lot of work, so I'd like you to appreciate them a little bit. Amanda Lintow and Nigel Brennan were released a couple of days ago, and I think that's a cause of celebration, some good news. These are freelance journalists who have been held captive for 15 months in Somalia. I am looking for a day when insurance arrangements can cover freelancers like them. Many people think that going to Somalia as they did was irresponsible, but I think somebody needs to actually say a word in their defense. I've represented a lot of freelancers who people think do silly things. I think journalism would be stronger if we built institutions that could better recognize, support, and encourage young, enterprising freelance journalists like Amanda and Nigel, and we don't do that. Often our criticisms of freelancers, I believe, are really a consequence of our own fears and insecurities. And I think that we need an industry where people who aspire, like these young people did, to have a place in our industry should be better recognized and encouraged and not disparaged every time they make a mistake. So I'll leave you with that, because I'm sure they will do jolly well in their careers.
Can I say one more thing, too?
Yeah.
Just seeing some of his friends here, it's also been several months, well, under several months, since we lost a valued member of this club and one of the giants of documentary making in British television history, John Sheppard. So I'd like us all to remember John, who was a great guy, a wonderful colleague, helped really start the Indochina Media Memorial Fund, which has helped local journalists and photographers throughout Asia. He was a terrific guy. I know a lot of his good friends are missing him greatly, but we won't forget him here. We keep showing the films that he produced that will live on.
Please give generously to the Fixers Fund. We're going to come and bully you all. Thank you. And eat everything up, please.